Welcome to the Goob Show. If it's your first time in, hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. In this video, we're going to talk about Antarctica. Its strange activities, strange creatures that people have seen. So check this video out.
Now, Antarctica has been shrouded in mystery. Antarctica is not owned by one nation, but various researchers and scientists call this place home. And over the years, installations have allowed them to carry out their research in the area, many of which have led to teams making fascinating discoveries. Antarctica is also known among certain groups as being a place that has many strange mysteries. For example, in recent years, people using Google Earth have claimed that many strange artifacts can be found across the continent, some of which include giant pyramids, large underwater structures, which some say are proof of ancient civilizations, and also giant structures that appear to resemble modern-day recreations of unidentified flying objects, with many of them being in the shape of a disk. One interesting story is that of Organism 46b. While information surrounding Organism 46b can be discussed, the environmental context must be thoroughly identified. Reports of Organism 46b's area of habitation rest within that of Lake Vostok, located more than 700 feet beneath the glacial surface of the ice at its shallowest depth and roughly 2,600 feet at its deepest region. It's at this depth that the ice from the Antarctic glaciers are under enough pressure to melt and form deep lakes. It's within one of these deep lakes, known as Lake Vostok, that the creature known as Organism 46b resides in. A supposed leaked document surrounding the first attempts made by Russian researchers back on the 5th of February in 2012, while drilling to the lake's surface, made reference to the creature known as Organism 46b.
So you mean to tell me that there's a creature called Organism 46b that you've been able to name that's in Antarctica raising havoc? In the news, and nobody is saying anything about it? Kind of strange, huh? What else are y'all seeing in there and y'all not telling us about?
46b, and detailed an increasingly bizarre story in which Russian scientists claim to have encountered a massive colossal squid residing in the lake that could release toxins into the water, could squeeze itself down into small sizes, take on weird shapes, change its physical colors, and cause a mud form of hypnotism if a person began to stare at the creature for too long. There are quotes from the supposed letter, written by a man named Dr. Anton Padalka. We encountered Organism 46b on our first day. It disabled our radio, which we later learned to our alarm was intentional.
So not only did this creature come out the woodwork, but this creature also disabled your communications. I understand this story may sound a little baffling, but we know for a fact that there's parts of the sea that we've never even explored. So the possibilities of something being in the water, especially in Antarctica, which we haven't explored, probably not even 2% of it. This shit would not be unimaginable. It definitely could happen. But we'll finish listening to this.
It's also able to paralyze prey from a distance of up to 150 feet by releasing its venom into the water. Tragically, my colleague and lifelong friend was taken out this way. He tread water wearing a blissful smile as the organism approached him. We watched helplessly as it used its arms to tear off his head, then popped the remains into his mouth. It was as if it had hypnotized him telepathically. It shaped itself into the form of a human diver. We thought it was one of our colleagues swimming towards us in scuba gear, but by the time the closest scientist had realized what it was, it had grabbed him and torn him to bits. Some variations of the legend claim that one of the tentacles of the creature had been chopped off, but that the severed tentacle later reanimated and strangled another member of the team. The legend ends claiming that there were a few surviving members of the expedition and that Russian officials captured the creature in an attempt to cover up the event. Fact-checking the story leads to a number of strange dead ends that come about in areas of documented factual events that otherwise should have been explored. It's important to note, though, that scientists and researchers don't accept these theories and say that nothing strange is going on down in Antarctica. One of the most recent discoveries to be shared online is that of a giant object seen in the snow, with one person saying that it looks like a giant robot. The idea of there being a large, tall robot in Antarctica has split people, with some saying that different programs are happening right now in Antarctica, and that people have no idea that these are going on, while others said that it's unlikely that this is what we're looking at, and say that the melting ice around this rock just makes it look like it's in the shape of a humanoid. Regardless, amateur researchers have said that for years now, whispers of secret programs being conducted in the region have been leaked online, with some of these leaks reporting that officials have found ancient technology, large structures, and even unidentified flying objects.
You must ask yourself, is that the reason why there's 31 countries with over 73 bases established in Antarctica? Possibly because of the technology that they found over the years, the pyramids that they've seen under the ice over the years, the UFO sightings they've seen over the years. This is just a way to get closer to something that's unexplored. Argentina is unexplored. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be more and more bases put up. One thing I must say that people don't talk about, Argentina has the most bases out of all the countries in Antarctica with 13. Why are they so enthused with having bases, even a military base over in Antarctica? But hey, let's continue with the video.
The following about the discovery, it's the perfect place to do this, as no one would know this was happening. I know some have said that these government installations are put here so they're out of the way of the general public, and this makes sense as it would allow them to conduct research without anyone knowing. Some, though, disagreed with this statement and said that although they believe that strange things are happening down in Antarctica, they think this one is a bit of a reach. As mentioned before, though, one of the most interesting discoveries that are often shared around is that of large crafts seen beneath the ice, with some saying that due to melting ice and glaciers, some of these unidentified crafts are now being exposed. Although megalithic structures found poking out of the ice might be hard to explain, perhaps a more mysterious discovery for researchers is that of the supposed findings of unidentified flying objects, which can allegedly be found all across the Antarctic continent, and that have been sighted via the use of satellite surveillance. First found by internet theorists, online images have surfaced of flying saucer-like shapes hiding within the ice caves and remote areas across the Antarctic. Further, satellite images can also be seen of large outcroppings, which many theorists have speculated are possible crashed spaceships, of which can be seen casting large shadows. Enthusiasts have also said that government officials have found evidence of these trapped, unidentified flying objects deep within the glacial formations, and that they're trapped there waiting to be uncovered by research teams stationed on the southern continent. Various UFO sites have claimed that a UFO crashed into the Antarctic snow and that it can be seen surrounded by tanks. When the photographs were shared, people started to give their opinions on what they thought the object was. Some claim that the object in the snow is different from the tanks that can be seen next to it, and that it does look like the tanks were sent there to investigate what was going on. The object looks to be disc in shape, and one thing that's confused those who have seen the images is the presence of these tanks, with some saying that if the tanks weren't there, this could be ruled out as perhaps a piece of snow or ice, but due to them being there, it adds an air of mystery. Some went on to say that at the end of the skid, you can see an unidentified object, and that again this does look to be disc in shape. For years, there have been rumors that UFOs have been discovered embedded in the ice of Antarctica, and that this is one of the reasons why there's a lot of activity going on down there. UFO researchers have gone on to say that the high military presence here comes down to there being a lot of UFO sightings in this area, saying that bases were built here purely to investigate these sorts of claims.
So there it is there. These Arctic stations and bases weren't built to observe polar bears. They were purely there to investigate UFO sightings over Antarctica. They will continue to do that. We'll get more information coming out of those bases over the years to come if they present themselves to let it out. If not, they'll hold those secrets, just like the sea holds those secrets deep in their depths. Antarctica holds secrets deep within its ice core. But let's get back to the...
As of right now, though, the government has never admitted to finding UFOs in Antarctica and say that any claims of there being UFOs in this region is just stories. When people zoomed in on the supposed tanks, though, some noted that you couldn't see any tracks in the snow and said that due to their weight, you should be able to see tracks. However, some UFO researchers hit back at these claims and said that a small snowstorm would easily cover them up, saying it would only take a few hours for the tracks to be hidden underneath a new batch of snow. One UFO researcher said the following about the object, quote, "I think that it measures at least 200 feet in diameter. It could be even more looking at it compared to the tanks. There's a reason why those tanks are there, and I think that they're collecting this UFO. We've heard many stories about governments being interested in these crafts, and I think this is one of those cases where we're seeing a real downed UFO."
Hey, and I appreciate everybody stopping through, watching my video. More to come. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you have something to say about the video, you believe it or you don't believe it, say something down in the description, in the chat. I'd appreciate it. Hey, until the next time, this has been the Google Show. I'm out of here. Peace.